A very warm welcome to Art Gallery Explorer, the vlog which explores and celebrates the London art scene. Coming up. I'm here on the Strand, art lovers, about to head into the Courtauld Gallery to explore a show called Abstract Erotic. I'm really intrigued about this show because in 1966, then young up-and-coming curator and critic Lucy Lippard put on a show she entitled Eccentric Abtraction, which involved a range of artists, including Bruce Neumann and some abstract sculptures. As part of this show, 3 women artists, 2 of whom gone on to be global megastars in the art world, Louise Bourgeois and Eva Hesse, exhibited along with a third, Hesse and Adams. All 3 artists' work has been collected together to be shown here at the Courtauld Gallery, including many of the works by these 3 that were shown at the original show. So it's going to be really interesting to see some abstract sculpture by some very well-known names, and also an artist, Hesse and Adams, I know a lot less about. I'm not sure quite how erotic it's going to be because these are abstract works, but I'm certainly intrigued in that. And there's also going to be some drawings in a separate show by Louise Bourgeois down in the Drawings Gallery, which I've come to love a huge amount. This show's on until the 14th of September and it's £14 to get in, so come and join me as we head inside. I'm going to put on some music while we explore the works, but as always, do change it if it's not your taste. You know what I love is I actually saw this show a few weeks ago, and I've been sitting on it, not deliberately necessarily, but I've actually put up a couple of shows that I've been to since. And that's always a sign to me that I'm not settled in how I feel about it. But I hope you enjoyed it. That was pretty much, I think, every work in the Abstract Erotic show, and then nearly every work in the Louise Bourgeois little drawing extra as a show as well. And I always think about these exhibitions in terms of the good, the bad, and the beautiful. And there was loads more good, I think, than bad in this exhibition. I really love art history, and so I thoroughly enjoyed the what you learn about this groundbreaking exhibition, Eccentric Abtraction, held by Lucy Lippard in 1960s New York, and how she consciously attempted to challenge the harder, more masculine edges of minimalism. Think of people like Carl Andre, for example, with a more feminine, softer take. And that links to another thing I really enjoyed, which was the use of unusual at the time and groundbreaking materials like latex to create these softer, in some ways, more feminine sculptures. So I really enjoyed that. And I do love the radical artistic spirit of the 1960s, even if I don't always enjoy every work. I love the fact that artists were consciously trying to push the boundaries and create something new. And really enjoyed the way that the artists talked to each other. They were clearly looking at each other's use of materials and themes as well. And so there was a lot that I enjoyed about it. And you know, it's really interesting to see how the artists were stretching the use of these different materials. And you'll learn a lot about that if you do come to this show. In terms of the bad, I didn't vibe aesthetically with all the works, and certainly not all works that I want around me. Some of them I would, definitely, and I'll pick out one in a minute that I would particularly like. But yeah, it was interesting that. And there was a lot of ambiguity. Now, there's nothing wrong with ambiguity in art at all. I was still left puzzled by the meaning of some of these works, but that's fine in a way. That's probably why I'm still thinking about them now in lots of ways. Abstract erotic was a term coined by Lucy Lippard, and some of these works certainly fit that description, but others don't to a certain extent as well. And so it was a show. It was a strange show in some ways, but one that I overall enjoyed. As I say, I think the good outweighs the bad. And if I think about the beautiful, I would probably choose this work by Eva Hesse because it uses really interesting materials and it has some of that certain ambiguity of meaning, which I kind of was wrestling with and quite enjoyed. So overall, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. It's a small show. It would take you maybe about half an hour to go around, maybe a tiny bit longer if you read everything. But I think that £14 is decent value. As always, it includes access to the whole of the Courtauld exhibition spaces, the wonderful Impressionist and Post-Impressionist collections, and the Louise Bourgeois show. And do look out, there's another work by Alice Adams in another little mini show which is going on as well, which you can hopefully see here. So I did enjoy it, and I'm glad I went along. I learned a lot about the development of these really important artists, and especially Alice Adams, who I knew a lot less about. I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, do always post in the comments if you've been along, if you think I'm correct or not in my views. I always love like to hear different views. And stay tuned. I'm going to be out of London for a little bit, but I will be back probably mid-August to cover a few shows that I haven't been to yet, as well as the Miller show. So join me for that. Do subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thank you as always for watching.